All right, I'm so excited to bring up this next group. They're amazing. I met them yesterday, and I felt like I made 3 new best friends. They're an incredible panel. If you're listening, answer this part. The stars at night are deep and bright. Oh, that was sad. One more time. The stars at night are deep and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, that's also where you find the real estate company with the most trans agents. Their stories are incredible, as is their desire to welcome more and more trans people into our industry and home ownership. Ladies and gentlemen, from Coldwell Banker and Deanne Harper Realtors of San Antonio, Texas, it is a thrill to welcome Jaime Zapata. Get up here, girl. That's you. That's your cue. Kasandra, oh, they all have heels, so this is going to take a bit. Kasandra Alicea. And the winner of the Alec Mapa NAGLREP Lookalike Contest, Grayson Cabian.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I was not supposed to be up here. But for these 3, this is not easy. This has been a work in progress for a couple months of all 3 of it. Well, not Jaime. Jaime's kind of gotten used to it, but I know for Kasandra and for Grayson, this is kind of hard. And they asked me this morning, I got a text at, 4 o'clock in the morning? Could I come and moderate? And I said yes. So what we're going to do is hear what I think is a life-changing moment for all of us to learn from 3 pretty special people who haven't had the easiest of lives. And we're going to learn from them what their life was like and how they ended up in real estate, and most importantly, how they've ended up here. So I wanted to start with Kasandra. Could you share your story of what you kind of say when you knew?
Yeah, most definitely. So my story isn't necessarily one of extreme hardship, but it's a journey nevertheless, like all of ours. I grew up in a stereotypical Texas Hispanic family. Men were men and women were women, and I was told to do the same. My family owns construction companies, so I suppressed my natural feelings all my life until my late teens after high school. Transitioned early at 19 and was easily accepted by my family, which was wonderful. Went on to college, but was told that what I wanted to do in college, I was a mass communications major, that it probably wasn't possible because I was trans. So I entered the beauty industry. I did hair and makeup for over 15 years and always wanted to get into real estate after time went on. I didn't think it was possible because I just thought there's too much discrimination. Someone like me doesn't belong in this arena. I won't have the clientele I need to survive. And Jaime and I have known each other for 25 years. We're in our late 80s now. So she was already in real estate, and she said it's quite the contrary. Like, come on in. Our broker is extremely inclusive and welcoming, and I just joined and hit the ground running and couldn't be happier. I didn't think it would be this amazing, and it really is. And it speaks volumes to the topic that we're speaking of, the power of trans inclusion in real estate, because for us to be sitting up here, just simply sitting up here, is beyond words. It's amazing that we can sit here with all of you guys. Everyone is so welcoming to us. It means a lot to us, and what you guys are allowing us to do, what we're doing, is going to open so many doors for so many other people and open eyes for you, us, and the world. So I think I speak on behalf of all 3 of us when I say we all truly appreciate it.
And you've kind of said that things have come so full circle that you kind of said, it's kind of cool to be trans now, right?
Yeah, we're the cool kids. Yeah, but I mean, in all seriousness, because of where we are socially, aside from the political climate that we are living in now, the world has been exposed to so much. The next natural step was after RuPaul's Drag Race and everything, the trans community, and it's been exposed on television, that us being in real estate being trans in real estate isn't hindering us, it's helping us. So people who aren't all about this and don't want to work with us don't, and that's perfectly fine, and we appreciate that. But people who are on board really want to work with us, and it works in our favor. So like we talked about the other day, people want to use us for that reason, and it speaks to also us being our authentic self, and it really just helps us.
Now, you said that your life was not as difficult as others, but you still did lose your job at one point, right?
I had many challenges with work. So the reason I say that is because after college, I did hair and makeup, and I was a freelance hair and makeup artist, and then I went on to owning my own salon. So I kept myself in a bubble. I was not only in the beauty industry, but where typically or stereotypically the LGBT community belongs, if you would say. I own my own business, so I kept myself in my little arena. After losing my business, I went into like the corporate cosmetic industry, and that's where I started to face challenges. And it varied. I mean, there were so many instances, but yes, that's where I really realized that the world wasn't as advanced as I thought they were, which led me to believe that I wouldn't fit into real estate.
Now, what's so interesting is for the two of you, Grayson thinks he has it a little bit easier because when he goes out into society now, he puts on the suit, people are automatically looking at you and say, it's a guy. Yeah. And you look at them and say, they've got it hard.
Yes, that's true. I guess I struggle with body dysphoria quite a bit, but I think it's easier I'm sure throughout the last few days that a lot of people might have assumed that, I'm cisgender male. And it's not until they actually realize that I'm on the trans inclusion panel with Jaime and Kasandra that, it brings a little more awareness to what we look like, just like everyone else.
This is really hard for Grayson, just so you know. He's been nervous about this. So Grayson, as you are up here and we'll hear about your story, what is the hardest part right now for you?
Well, I've struggled being trans. I've actually been in transition for just a little over 2 years. I actually worked for corporate America right at the beginning of my transition. So before I presented as a butch lesbian, I was openly accepted in corporate America as that. And 4 years as a successful top sales agent within the company, I asked for a name change on my business card, something as simple as that. And a week later, I was let go. So it was a bit of a struggle. I became a statistic of the trans community. Work survival mode.
You got this.
I literally almost lost everything in this past year and a half before I started real estate 6 months ago. Had to file for bankruptcy. You name it, I've been through it.
Grayson, you've described the feeling so well to me. When you were what you called a butch lesbian, you never felt like yourself. You described it as like a low, like clouds, right? How did you learn you were trans?
Well, I actually didn't even know that transgender men existed. I was under the impression that it was transgender only applied to women. And about a little over 2 years ago, about the same time, my best friend one day I went over to her house and she's showing me some TV series or show that was on. And she asked me, she's like, what do you think about the guy that's on TV? I was like, wow, he's great. He's good looking. If I could have my body like that would be amazing. But, being lesbian, to have the physique as a male is very difficult no matter how much you work out. And so then shortly after that, she was like, he's transgender. His name is Laith Ashley. And shortly after that, I took the journey alone. I didn't tell anyone. And about 2 weeks later, I started, my hormone replacement therapy, transitioning, seeing therapists. And I prepared myself that I was ready that I would lose family and friends. And at the beginning, I did lose family and friends. But I am a much happier person today and in the career I'm in today than I was then. Even before having to live as a person that I thought that was only the best that I could become and be as authentic, but it wasn't. I just was uneducated and unaware that I still needed to find myself.
And you also said that one of the hard parts is there's no book about what it's like to be a guy.
That's right. There's no book about how to become a trans guy. In San Antonio, I had to do everything alone. We didn't have the support system. There was nothing out there. I actually have an organization now where I mentor the youth who are transitioning as well as men to offer them the guidance so that they don't have to incur the same obstacles that I had to.
So that... So at the policy summit, when he told me that, I made him carry my bags, and you just saw I made him carry the banner too. So we're teaching him. All right, Jaime. Your story has really captivated the real estate industry, and you've changed so many lives, so let's go tell the story.
Well, one thing that I wanted to mention is that we're actually all currently working with trans clients, and many of them are people who didn't even know that they could purchase a home because of the fear that we have, not only in work, but school. Every aspect of society is difficult for trans people. So now trans people have come to us and said, well, I want to buy, can I buy? And yes, of course they can. So now we've helped them. We also have several trans friends who are in the process of getting their real estate license as well. So we're excited about that. So yes, so yay for that. And one thing that's funny that I'd like to mention is that at one of my open houses recently, someone walked in, a gentleman came in, and after looking at the house and looking at me, he said, wow, I've never seen a transgender realtor before. And I said, well, now you have. And now you're going to see a lot more of us if we have our way. So we're really proud to be able to empower the community and to empower others to be their authentic selves and to do anything that everyone else can do. So I think that's important. But one thing that I wanted to also mention is that I'm not sure if Kasandra or Grayson have experienced this, but I have personally lost clients because I'm trans, which, like Kasandra said, it's fine. If they don't want to work with us, we don't want to work with them. I would rather... Thank you. And we all know there's that level of trust, and any LGBTQ person or any minority or anyone could experience that challenge of gaining clients' trust, but we have another layer of them walking in or them looking at us and saying, do I really want this person to represent me? What are people going to think? What are the neighbors going to think? And I've been turned down because of it. So that's just something that I think people should know is hard for us. And the most important thing that I like to share is a story that about a year ago when we sat down with our broker, who has been amazing, Lisa Harper Rispoli with Coldwell Banker D. Harper Realtors, at our realtor rally about a year ago, we sat down with her on the couch, and that was the first time she realized that, this is it. It's all out in the open. We're all trans. It's for real.
No turning back.
We're not going away. So we sat down and chatted with her, and I said, I hope this is okay, what we're doing in the LGBT community. And she said, oh, yes, please, of course. And I said, well, thank you so much, Lisa, because all we want is just to be included. And she said, I don't like that word, included. And I thought, uh-oh. And she said, honey, you're welcome here, and we're lucky to have you. And and for trans people, you have no idea what that means to be welcomed And I think that just allowing us here to share our story and so that everyone knows how important it is when people like us, when trans people are treated with the dignity and respect that we deserve, we can accomplish great things just like everyone else.
And just so you know, Jaime has become probably the lead recruiter in their company with 2 trans people. What'd you say, lesbian you brought over? And you have, who's more? Who else is coming?
I don't ask their sexual orientation.
Well, you knew them. Oh, don't you? This you told me. Don't go back on what you said. And who else is coming, Dan?
I screen them. Are you gay? Okay, come. If, no, straight? No. Like, we welcome straight, curious people, and all are welcome. No, but we have recruited a lot of LGBT agents to come to the brokerage, and it's great, and we're excited about having more, and definitely more trans people.
And for those of you who are brokers, they're really going to screw you up because they're not a real team. They don't call themselves a real team. They're an unofficial team, so God knows how you'd manage that whole thing. So
I just want to say really quickly that I love Kasandra and Grayson like family, and I appreciate them, and we are a team, and we are equals, and I would not be here without them.
Likewise.
So guys, what should we all know about the trans community? That I know we hear a lot about LGBT, but the truth is the L, the G, and the B may still not understand the T.
I'd like to answer that. I think one thing about the trans community is possibly due to prior years, there was maybe a stigma from some of the community on trans people. So that limited what some trans people were able to do in their life, and that just carried on to determine their future. And I just want everyone to know that it really does matter how we treat one another and not to judge. It's human nature. We all have to try not to, but just being included, like Jaime was saying, for us being here means a lot. And if all trans people and people about to transition were able to feel the love that we're feeling here from the get-go, I think that would make a huge difference in the trajectory of their life and ultimately lead them and plant them into a much more positive space in the future, as opposed to some roads I've seen people take only simply because they had so much opposition and hatred at the beginning. So it's just really important to understand, to not judge, and just hear a person. And once you know someone's story, it's hard to hate. So even from within our own community and outside of our community, if you give someone the opportunity to tell you who they are, you have more sympathy for them, and that will change the course of their life. So really just be kind, which everyone here has, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Grayson, you all right? You okay, Jay? Grayson, you did it?
Are you okay?
So I think we are going to finish with Kassandra's statement. But I want, for me, if you can, this was so hard for Grayson. And hopefully you can tell him how much you appreciated what he, Kasandra, and Jaime just did. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you.
It's like looking in a mirror. He's gorgeous.
Thank you.